Contractor that's been around for 40 years, J&J Contractors has been helping families create new memories for generations to come by reimagining your kitchen space for baking holiday cookies with the family or opening up your lower level for friend and neighbor entertainment. Whatever the project is, J&J Contractors does it with top-of-the-line craftsmanship. Just Google J&J Contractors to see their reviews for impeccable work and outstanding communication.
Heiser Automotive will help find your perfect vehicle match or give your current vehicle the attention it needs. After all, love is in the details. You'll get spoiled with our sales and service offers and receive our Safe and Sound program with each sale. This includes the exchange program. Don't love it? Exchange it. Convenient service with our new mobile service van. This means we'll come to you. Get lifetime roadside assistance and more. Your vehicle date awaits. At Heiser, today's your day.
See dealer for complete details.
Get your rock-solid guaranteed pre-approval to buy at accunet.com.
Time for the Bucks to cut these Timberwolves down to size.
Beats the trailing. Yes, with a big swooping sledgehammer.
The Bucks are in Minnesota. Our coverage of the game starts tonight at 8:30 on your home for the Bucks. News Radio 620 WTMJ Milwaukee.
Sooner or later, gotta cut you down.
At 1 o'clock, it's 37 degrees. Might see some snow later today. Falling temperatures, an overnight low of 18. From the WTMJ Breaking News Room, I'm Greg Matzik. A hospital and several clinics in the Chippewa Falls and Eau Claire area are set to close. Chippewa Falls Mayor Greg Hoffman says a declining staff is a major contributor. A bill introduced in Madison would send $15 million in grants to support health care in the area. Mayor Hoffman tells Wisconsin's Midday News it's a start.
The MRI, the CAT scan is gone, and to replace all that is $75 to $100 million. $15 million is a start.
Hospitals and clinics closing in rural areas around the country is a growing trend. Well, an abortion clinic on Milwaukee's east side will reopen on March 5th. The building on Farwell Avenue has been mostly empty since the U.S. Supreme Court overruled Roe v. Wade in 2022. In September, Planned Parenthood of Wisconsin resumed providing abortions at its Madison and Milwaukee clinics after a Dane County judge issued an order signaling that she did not believe an 1849 Wisconsin law applied to abortions, but instead to the killing of an unborn child without the mother's consent. A police chase overnight ends with a vehicle crashing into a building on Milwaukee's north side.
The Milwaukee County Sheriff's Office says a pursuit of an armed and dangerous suspect from Waukesha County began around 12:30 this morning near 27th and Holt, then went through the Potawatomi Hotel Casino parking structure, continuing onto city streets before the suspect crashed his vehicle into a building at 27th and Burleigh. Upon receiving medical clearance, the subject will be turned over to the Waukesha Police Department. Adam Roberts, WTMJ News.
Well, Milwaukee County Transit proposes expanding its Rapid Transit Connect routes to run from Oak Creek to Bayshore. TMJ4's Adriana Mendez.
The route aims to connect communities of color, linking residents to essential services. Of the 118,000 people who live within a half mile of the route, about 73% are people of color. 1 in 5 households are without a car, and 26% of families live in poverty. The route is meant to link residents to better access to different locations, healthcare, social activities, education, and jobs.
Public meetings about the new route will happen next week in person and virtually. And another cold weather event calling it quits this winter. Milwaukee County Park says due to the warm temperatures, the season of Slice of Ice at Red Arrow Park is coming to an end. The downtown Milwaukee Ice Rink has already opened behind schedule, and we'll have more on the environmental impact of a warmer than normal winter with National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administrator Jennifer Day today at 4:10 on Wisconsin's Afternoon News. Time for news about your money. The WTMJ Annex Wealth Management Market Update. The Dow currently up 57.5 points at 39,126. The NASDAQ lagging behind about 22 points at 16,019. And the S&P 500 up about 5 points today at 5,091. It's a great time for your retirement and investment strategy review from a fee-only fiduciary. Check out annexwealth.com. Click on the Get Started button today. Sports, traffic, and weather are next. Siding Unlimited WTMJ News Time is 1:03.
You're going to get a free furnace from Quality Heating. This isn't a gimmick. You are going to get a free furnace. This is Anthony Zanevsky, and all you have to do is purchase a heat pump from Quality Heating, and you're going to get a free furnace. And this heat pump is not only going to give you 2 sources of heat and act as a backup, but also the heat pump will double as an AC system to cool your home as well. and it's extremely efficient. I have a heat pump in my own home, and I can promise you, this heat pump will cut your energy costs substantially. You'll be getting a top-of-the-line $14,000 to $15,000 system, but your bill is going to be less than half of that. So from February 1st through March 31st, you can get an insane deal from Quality Heating. This is the only time of the year we can do this, and it's really just in an effort to make one of the slowest times of the year for our technicians really busy. So see the man in the red van. Call Quality Heating. Get your free furnace and upgrade your home's HVAC system to absolute max efficiency. February 1st through March 31st.
Quality Heating, Quality Heating.
Hi, this is Scott Trout of Cordell & Cordell. If you're a dad who is facing divorce, there are extra layers of stress that may include stereotypes and assumptions. No two situations are the same. Our legal experience and dedication prepare us for whatever legal challenges we face together. You need a partner you can count on. For more than 30 years, Cordell & Cordell has represented men in divorce.
Schedule an appointment with one of Cordell & Cordell's Milwaukee attorneys. 111 East Kilbourne Avenue, Suite 1650, Milwaukee, Wisconsin, 53202.
My doctor told me my cholesterol is borderline, so I took control with Garlic Healthy Cholesterol Formula. Garlic helps maintain healthy cholesterol safely and naturally. It's odor and taste-free, and Garlic is a world leader in garlic potency. I'm taking charge of my cholesterol with Garlic Healthy Cholesterol Formula, cholesterol's natural enemy.
These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. The term natural references only the garlic in the product. Use as directed.
Time for a WTMJ Sports Update. Brewers begin the Cactus season on Saturday afternoon against the Padres. The Cactus League season, I should say. Don't expect to see Kristin Yelich in the first lineup of the spring, but
I feel great right now, and looking forward to getting the season started and going. I feel really good with where I'm at, and I thought last year was a good year, and keep building on it.
Coverage of tomorrow's game gets underway at 2 o'clock on WTMJ. Bucks resume the regular season tonight in Minnesota against the Timberwolves, with coverage getting underway at 8:30. Time for a look at your roads. Johnson & Sons Paving Time Saver Traffic Update. Pretty normal travel times around the system. Notable exception, 94 westbound downtown into the zoo. That's normally about a 6-minute ride. It's going to run you 10 here. You can pop off the freeway really wherever you are able to. If you're headed westbound, any one of the exits there from 35th all the way out to 84th Street. Might save you a little bit of time if you take Blue Mountain Road or perhaps Wisconsin Avenue, or doubling back to Greenfield Road, depending your end destination. 94 westbound, downtown to the zoo, a 10-minute ride. 43 southbound, Brown Deer to downtown, normally about an 11-minute ride. That's going to run you 13. Tap on the brakes through the construction zone.
Traffic is sponsored by Hiller Ford, a family-owned dealership on Highway 100 in Franklin.
Ford Motor Company has awarded Hiller Ford with their Ford President's Award for customer service 18 times. One more reason people love to buy from Hiller Ford.
Well, deteriorating conditions from what we experienced this morning. Temperatures are on the decline here. You got some precipitation moving in through the area as well. We topped out with a high of 41, but we are on the decline from there. A low of 18 overnight. Mostly sunny on Saturday with a high of 37. Back into the 50s on Sunday. 40 in rain in Madison. It's 41 in Waukesha. 24 chilly degrees in Green Bay. And 38 at the Avenue. I'm Greg Matzik. Siding Unlimited. WTMJ News Time is 1:07.
65,498 square miles. We've got a lot to cover, so let's get to it. This is Spanning the State. Here's your host, Kristin Brey.
Happy Friday! Today we are heading all the way up to Hayward, over to Potosi, and covering topics from college savings accounts for kids to polka. And joining me today as my guest co-host is Corey Joe Biddle, Vice President of Community Affairs at the MMAC and Executive Director of Fuel Milwaukee. Hi. And my friend.
Hi,
Corey.
Hi.
So this is the first time you've been on WTMJ. Your old boss, Tim Sheehy, is on a lot. Your new boss, Dale Cawenga, also starting to be on a lot. So welcome to WTMJ.
Yeah, now I feel like I fit into the club now. I'll be able to go up there in our offices and brag and say, I've done it too.
Because we're neighbors.
We are.
You guys are right next to us.
Yep, in this great space.
And I know, really. The Avenue it's a very sexy downtown office.
It's dynamic and it's so smart, and I'm proud that it's working.
So I'm excited because later in the show, we're going to talk more about what you do at MMAC as far as talent acquisition, retention, how we get smart, talented people to move to Milwaukee, stay in Milwaukee, and sometimes that includes passive
talent.
Passive talent, also known as poaching. So we're going to talk about that later. But if you have kids, I have one kid.
Yep.
Did you set up a savings account for them when they were first born?
Not when they were first. I intended to, and I blinked and 10 years had passed and I hadn't done it.
And so there's a lot of money potentially that you missed out on because of compound interest. And so coming up next, we're going to talk to Republican Representative John Mocco and Democratic Representative Evan Goyke on their bipartisan bill to get every kid in Wisconsin set up with a savings account because time passes, life happens.
Interest
and so even if you know that there's an account out there that can grow exponentially, sometimes the barrier to entry is too high.
Just leave it there. Put $10 in there and leave it there. Come back 20 years later and see what happens. It's that powerful. But if you forget to do it or you
don't know it exists,
you lose out.
I think about that a lot, having a father who worked as a financial advisor.
So lucky.
There's so many things that I knew because he told me to do it. Versus if you don't have a parent who is financially savvy,
you don't even know what questions to ask.
Absolutely. And so they introduced a bill called WIS Kids that would do exactly what I said before, was that they're a savings account for every kid in Wisconsin. And it actually does not cost the state
anything,
which that's the part to me that's so interesting, that $25, there's funds that are already there.
Yeah.
And that it seems to me like a no-brainer. So when we come back, we will be talking to Representative Evan Goyke, Representative John Mocco. Stay tuned. This is Spanning the State on WTMJ.
Hey, John Mercure here. Join me every Saturday at noon for Experience Wisconsin. I love this show. We swing around the state from the Mississippi to Lake Michigan, giving you some of the coolest places you should check out. This week, we're joined by Road America's John Everett. Going to be fun. They've got a lot going on up there. And we keep it with cars. Jim Tolkien talks about the Milwaukee Auto Show.
For mom and dad that may or may not be looking for a car, and the kids can get in the car, see how they fit.
It's Experience Wisconsin, Saturday at noon, right here on 620 WTMJ.
Panic strikes as you realize on Wednesday that Thursday is your anniversary. The reservations being secured.
We'll see you at 8.
The gift being purchased. Yeah, you've got this. Just like Associated Bank's got you with early pay up to 2 days early on direct deposits. So even though they call you Last Minute Lisa, we'll make your last minute scrambling a bit easier. You've got this with early pay from Associated Bank. See associatedbank.com/checking or ask a banker for details. Member FDIC.
A cancer diagnosis shouldn't mean we can't make plans. It shouldn't mean living without joy or optimism. Cancer shouldn't be calling the shots. At the Frederick and the Medical College of Wisconsin Cancer Network, we're pushing to put cancer in its place by pulling together teams of leading specialists and researchers who work tirelessly for breakthroughs, who are developing innovative ways to treat every cancer, to treat your cancer. And by providing the largest cancer clinical trials treatment program in Wisconsin. So there are more treatment options and more reasons to be hopeful. So let's keep innovating. Let's keep discovering. Let's push to make every cancer diagnosis a story of survivorship and bring back the lightness of life that cancer takes away. To learn more about breakthrough cancer care, visit frederick.com/cancer.
Welcome back to Spanning the State. I am Kristin Brey, along with my guest co-host for today, Corey Joe Biddle.
Hello.
And joining us today to talk about the importance of starting early when it comes to savings accounts for kids are state representatives John Mocco and Evan Goyke. So the emphasis on that sentence, is starting early. Why is that the key component when it comes to savings accounts for kids?
You want the dorky answer? It's exponential notation. That's the word. It's just compound interest. It's, the longer time that you have to continue to move that forward. One of the businesses that we are in is financial management and asset management. And so that's why I've been so involved in 529s and different things. And when my colleague came along and said, hey, can we work on this? I go, yeah, we need to work on it because I have firsthand evidence of how damaging it is when people don't start early enough. And so that's your answer. It's it's compounding on compounding and compounding, and it's a whole lot easier doing $25 a month from birth than it is all of a sudden having to do $500 a month from 15.
Absolutely. So let's talk about it. Let's talk about WisKids and how that's different than a classic 529 education savings plan and what the bill would do.
Right, so the bill would have the state create an account for every child born or adopted in the state of Wisconsin. The state would own and manage that account. So it's not a private account that grandma can send $25 at your child's birth, but we use that as an incentive and an educational tool to get families to open their own mirrored private 529. And the big win here is we're talking to families right away after that child is born, and we're walking them through the process. Opening your account is really easy, but there's barriers. My son's 2.5. It took me 20 months to open the 529 because life happened.
And you got two really smart people in your house.
Yeah, 2 lawyers in the house, but just, we're tired.
I was going to say, as someone who has an infant, you're like, things slip through the cracks.
Yeah.
And we know that, like, if you look at qualified retirement plans in corporations and stuff, that you see them moving more and more to an opt-out platform, where if you don't want to participate, then you got to take an action. You have to be intentional about not wanting to participate. And the reason they're doing that now is because they know that folks, just like Evan was saying, that, just life happens and they never get around to it. And so that's how this program, I think, that's the secret of this program. And the challenge, of course, that we have is folks in our industry are not used to planting trees that they're never going to sit under. This is an 18-year thing, and and we can talk about that as we move into it. But anyway, that's the reason why. You want to prime the pump, get them going, and if they don't want to participate, then they got to take an action to participate, which is way easier than trying to make them to take an action to participate.
Yeah, I just remember doing a lot of searches and research about what kinds of accounts, custodial accounts, and my kids were babies, and I was overwhelmed, and I just stopped. And we ended up making decisions later when they were, 11 and 12, different decisions for accounts. But if I had someone say, here, your kid needs a vitamin K shot and this account, as a parent, that would have been very helpful.
Came in and was like, here's everything your baby needs, financially and health-wise.
Yep, you're done for life. You're absolutely right. So
that's the power of this program, is reaching families at that critical time and making it as easy as humanly possible to start. Once you start saving, it's easy. But that first enrollment of moving your check into your savings, that's always the hardest. Once it's automatic and ongoing, people like that, and they save.
And explain one more time, because it's not going to cost, it pays for itself?
So I think that's a really critical component, because there seems to be a lot of noise going on right now. Washington is trying to do something. I think the cool part about us working collaboratively, Lan, is you got, a finance guy and a legal guy. And so some of the things we've gone through at first is we looked at 401k code. Now keep in mind that that's actual lines in code in the tax policy. So it's 401-K. And so we don't have any effect over that on a state law. That's a federal policy. And so we started looking at different things, and we've been doing this for how many, 3-4 years? 4 or 5 years. Yeah, and so we're trying to figure out, well, how can we do it? And so the mechanics of it were hard. Then the next question, like your point is funding. And so some of the blowback we've gotten, particularly from my side of the aisle, is that this is government spending. It's not. It's not at all like the federal program that was just proposed last week. And Evan gets all the credit really for finding that.
Well, we found an account in the state that has a balance of over $20 million that cannot be spent on other things. This is not money that's going to otherwise go to public education or pothole filling or anything like that. It's just reserved at the Department of Financial Institutions for this program, for administering our 529 EdVest account, and it's generated on a very small fractional fee attached to the existing accounts.
Right. And so that money never came from us. That's not tax dollar money. That's internal management fees from the money manager. In this case, it happens to be TIAA-CREF. But so, for example, the state of Virginia has the most prolific program in the country, whereas our program manages about $6.6 billion, which sounds like a big number, and it is. Virginia's program through the American Funds Group manages $89.6 billion. So they are massive. So we've got a long way to go to get our citizens to participate, and we thought this was a great way to prime the pump. But again, those funds are the internal difference. This doesn't cost the people that have the existing accounts any money. It doesn't cost. These are internal fees that are engineered and designed in as the funds are created, just like any of the mutual funds you guys might have. And then those internal management fees are there. And I want to tell you, the folks that are managing it are doing a great job. They're not spending that money. And so they're going, well, we wish we could have a productive way to use this money. And I think the one thing that I think is lost on some of our colleagues is that not only does it prime the pump like we just all talked about, but the other cool thing that it does is it connects those names and those resources to the folks that are managing the program. Now they can proactively advertise, market to them, and say, hey, I saw you just had a baby in December. Isn't that wonderful? Here's some stuff that you're doing. Otherwise, they have to just take a shotgun approach and throw advertising, tax dollar advertising out there to try and maybe on the off chance you run into it, but how much more receptive to responding if they were able to target you specifically and say, hey, Sally, we know you just had a baby. Here's some really cool. Yeah, right. Well, you look like Sally to me. So anyway, I think there's two parts of that is building that platform, because we do have to go a lot more from the 6.6 that's in there to 89.
Absolutely. So we're running up against a finish line for this legislative session. If this does not pass this time around, what do you want parents and grandparents and anyone with young babies in their life to know about saving?
Well, we certainly are encouraging families to enroll now in their own 529. There's no disadvantage to doing that.
Right.
Even if you're only saving a few dollars a month, get started now. If this legislation doesn't pass this year, we're going to come back at it. I might not be in the legislature. I definitely won't be in the legislature, but somebody else will take up the mantle. What John and I have done is a lot of the mechanics and the groundwork over the last couple of years to get the policy right, and now we're working on the politics and really taking the idea around the state. And when we're talking to people, they're buying into it. So it's a matter of when, not if.
And I would say the short answer for folks like yourself and other young couples that are having kids is to. You can just get online. You can just Google 529, and you can jump on whatever plan you want. You don't have to take the Wisconsin plan, although it's not bad. You can take the Virginia plan, but then you won't get the tax break. So anyway, so you can Google it. Just go 529s and get something set up. Or you can call if you have a relationship with a bank or a financial advisor, touch base with them, because they can manage that for you as well and get you started. And you can start with virtually nothing. I mean, they're dirt cheap to manage. And like Evan said, start with $25, and then you know what I tell them to do is tell grandma and grandpa and your aunts and uncles and tell the godparents and everybody and say, hey, you know what? The last thing little Billy needs is another tricycle, but we really could use some funding in here. So I just think being intentional about it.
Absolutely. All right, Representative Mako, Representative Goyke, thank you so much for spending some time with us today.
Thanks for
having us.
This is Spanning the State on WTMJ.
Oh, I'm already running late. Let's go.
There is a backup on I-94 eastbound.
Wait, is that Debbie Lazaga?
Expect delays.
Well, how bad is it?
Alternate routes will help you in your journey.
I feel better.
Get where you need to go calmly with traffic reporter Debbie Lazaga, only on News Radio WTMJ.
Follow me on social.
Our mission is to protect and uphold our reputation. At Semper Fi, it's the banner we all march under, because the reputation we earn and uphold belongs to all of us. And without a strong reputation in the exterior remodeling business, you're here today and gone tomorrow. And when you've earned a good reputation, that's what makes the difference in value. It's the little extra that you get for the price. And that assurance is actually what counts the most, because it means the good money you're spending with us is not going to go to waste. A roof you can rely on, with a warranty that has a backbone. Craftsman quality airtight window and door installations. Brick and stone masonry that's clean and sharp. And new siding that's been known to stop traffic. And it's all backed by a team that over the last 20 years have put a lot of heart and soul into building a reputation that you can believe in. This is Brad Youngbluth with Semper Fi Roofing and Exteriors, your local, veteran-owned and operated exterior remodeling company.
Keep you safe, warm, and dry. Semper Fi.
Don't just dream of paradise, live it. Escape the ordinary with Fox World Travel and set sail for an island-hopping adventure. With exclusive rates on the world's finest cruise lines, we are proud to partner with Holland America, Princess, and Royal Caribbean and take you to sun-soaked beaches, historic ruins, or the exotic wilderness. Only unpack once and let adventure be your guide. Visit foxworldtravel.com or call 866-GO-FOX-GO and set sail for adventure.
I know you have a great dog, right? But you know there's room for improvement. At Sit Means Sit Dog Training, we can help. Our attention-based training system uses modern technology to help you better communicate with your dog, even in high distraction. When you schedule a free consultation with us, you will have the opportunity to see our training in action and meet for yourself our happy dogs off leash and under control. Contact Sit Means Sit today at 262-361-3641 or find us on the web at sitmeansitwaukesha.com to schedule your free consultation so you can have a happy, confident, and obedient dog.
When you're disciplining yourself to be a disciple, you can take your daily sacrifices and connect them to the once and for all sacrifice of Jesus. This is not losing. It's raising your game to the purpose and the plan that God has in mind for you.
Pastor John Nunes this week on the Lutheran Hour.
The Lutheran Hour, Sunday mornings at 6:30 on WTMJ.
Welcome back to Spanning the State. I am Kristin Brey. She is Corey Jo Biddle. A big thank you to Representative John Mocco and Representative Evan Goyke join to talk about their bill, WIS Kids. But if that doesn't pass, and it may not, because literally I think they may be done. The Assembly may be done. State Senate still has some bills that they're going to pass and get through to see what will still get to the governor's desks before the end of this legislative session. But so if this one doesn't make it, like they said, they're still going to keep working on this. The infrastructure for it is there, but it doesn't mean you can't still sign up for a 529 savings account for your kids.
It's still such an important conversation. Whatever happens with the legislation, they're sparking a conversation and raising awareness. Again, like, we don't know what we don't know, and now it's out there for people to be thinking about and starting right away. Right now.
And I didn't know the timing of this because obviously I've known for a week or so that you were going to join me on Friday. But as we were doing our show prep for the day, you said MMAC is having a public event on this very topic.
So one of our programs, our community engagement programs, is called Fuel Milwaukee. So it'll be a mix of professionals, mostly young professionals, at this mixer. It's a mix and mingle at Gibraltar. And EdVest is going to be there talking about these plans because this is the group of people who are most likely thinking about this right now. They're having kids, they're planning for education, and I think that's one thing we didn't really touch on, all the things you can use this money for.
Well, especially, I think this is the first year it can roll over into a 401k, and so if you end up not using it for college, you can still use it for retirement, but also it's not just a traditional four-year school. It can be Representative Mocco said something about trucking schools, beauty school.
So, I mean, your kids are going to do something, and it's just a great tool to set them up to not have the stress that everybody's talking about right now, but the stress of paying for an education. It's just that one extra step to set them up.
Absolutely. And so the event's at Gibraltar?
It's at Gibraltar, and it's open to the public. It's meant and intended to be, we call it a purely social because that's what it is. It's meant to be a casual mixer just for people to connect and meet with other folks that work at other companies and in other industries. But this shared information around, and it's a passive kind of thing. They're going to tell you a little bit about it. You'll take away some pamphlets and information. But the timing is great. If you go to our website at mmac.org, you can register. It's called the Purely Social at Gibraltar, and it's next Thursday, the 29th.
Leap Day.
Yes, Leap Day. Last day of Black History Month. We got an extra day of Black History Month this year, so we'll be at Gibraltar from 5:30 to 8:30.
And what are some of the other events that Fuel does?
We do a lot of professional development. So we just came out of a week-long conference called Professional Development Boot Camp. But everything that we do is really about making people more engaged and fall more in love with being in Milwaukee. So a lot of our members are from Milwaukee originally, but a lot of them got recruited here because of a job.
Passively?
They were poached from another city.
And how much of that is what you work on, is giving member companies of MMAC the tools to get people excited about moving to Milwaukee?
Yeah, it's a lot of my work. So since I've been at MMAC for 15 years,
that's a long.
Who can
in this
say
day
that
and age,
anymore?
That's a long
time. Yeah, I'm an OG already, right? But it's a lot of what I do. But I say the employers take care of folks from 9 to 5. After that, you give them to us, and we just make sure that they are making friends, making connections, and can see the best of what Milwaukee has to offer them as a long-term place to call home.
Well, that sounds like a fun job.
It is fun. It is. You know what?
To hype up Milwaukee. As someone born and bred in Milwaukee, you get to hype up your hometown.
I'm a Milwaukee native, and it's a fun job.
Absolutely. Well, we're going to hear more about it later. Coming up, just like the theater, the Berkey must go on. The world's largest cross-country ski marathon in Hayward is underway despite no snow. So when we come back after the news, we'll talk to my childhood friend whose family has a deep tradition of going to the event every year, no matter what. And this year is no different. Snow or no snow, he and his family are racing this year. And so we're going to talk to him as soon as we come back from the news. Reed Cooper, I cannot wait.
I thought the Berkey was a purse when you first said it. I'm going to learn a lot right now.
Birkin?
That I just thought it was a nickname.
All right. Citing Unlimited WTMJ News Time, 1:30. ABC News and local headlines are next.
ABC News, I'm Michelle Franzen. It's down to the wire for Nikki Haley campaigning in her home state of South Carolina before tomorrow's GOP primary. Former President Trump maintains a 30-point lead in the race. ABC's Alex Perche is in Charleston.
Trump surrogates campaigning throughout the state. We also got the former president here. He's got 2 events this evening. CPAC is also going on today, where a host of Trump surrogates, including Congressman Gates, Jim Jordan, will also be speaking then for Nikki Haley. She's got a couple events going on today. Listen, she's had a bus tour crisscrossing the state basically all week. You can expect that to extend into tomorrow.
The U.S. has imposed more than 500 additional sanctions against Russia in response to the death of Alexei Navalny and the war in Ukraine. In Russia, Navalny's mother says she was given a 3-hour deadline to decide on a private funeral for the Russian opposition leader or have her son buried at the Siberian prison where he died. This is ABC News.
Citing Unlimited WTMJ News Time is 1:31. I'm Greg Matzik. The mother of a missing 3-year-old Elijah View charged with being party to the crime of child neglect. Katrina Bauer being held on $15,000 cash bail with additional charges of obstruction coming. 3 UW-Madison students are recovering after falling through ice on Lake Mendota overnight near the Alumni House. UW-Madison police reminding students and residents that the ice in Lake Mendota is far too thin and not safe to be out on. This comes at Lake Michigan's ice levels are also at record lows. A hospital and several clinics in the Chippewa Falls and Eau Claire area are set to close. Chippewa Falls Mayor Greg Hoffman tells Wisconsin's Midday News that a declining staff is a major contributor. A bill introduced in Madison would send $15 million in grants to help support health care in that area. And even with the chilliness of the air today, you can still get your tee time scheduled for the weekend. Grant Golf Course in Milwaukee will open on Saturday. Curry will also open in Wauwatosa, Greenfield Park in West Dallas, and Whitnall Course in Franklin, all opening on Sunday. Most courses remain walking only through next Tuesday. Time for news about your money. The WTMJ Annex Wealth Management Market Updates. Mixed results on the markets today with the Dow down 35 points at 39,103. The NASDAQ is down 26.5 points at 16,015. And the S&P 500 up about 2.5 points at 5,089.81. Annex Comprehensive Wealth, Annex Private Client, Annex Ignite, financial planning at every level. For details, visit annexwealth.com. Sports, traffic, and weather are next. Citing Unlimited WTMJ News Time is 1:33. Let's take a look at those roads. Right now in the system, pretty standard travel times. You do have one noticeable backup here. It's westbound 94 downtown to the zoo. Normally a 6-minute ride. It's going to run you about 10, so seek an alternate route. Maybe get off, ride through it if you'd like, but your delays are starting here before you hit Hawley Road. So be mindful of that, about a 4-minute delay. 43 southbound, Brown Deer to downtown. That's a tap on the brakes. Will be about a 14-minute ride, typically 11, as you roll through the construction zone. Temperatures starting to fall here. You might see some snow arriving a little later. The radar looks clear from now. Maybe some stuff way out west, maybe toward the Platteville area, that'll work its way to our area later today or early this evening. Decreasing clouds overnight with a low of 18. Mostly sunny and a high of 37 on Saturday. We are back into the 50s on Sunday. It's currently 40 degrees and rainy in Madison. It's 41 in Waukesha, 24 in Green Bay, and 37 at the Avenue. I'm Greg Matzik. Siding Unlimited WTMJ News Time is 1:34.
I know it's hard to believe that someone who charges almost 40% less than another can actually do the same job just as well, and maybe even better. But when it comes to our agents, when you give us a chance, you'll see we're pretty good. We know the market and our expertise is second to none. We just charge less. Why pay 6% when a Benefit Realty agent can help you sell your home just as effectively for 3.9%? This is Angela Calais with Benefit Realty, where you pay less for full service. Benefit-realty.com. Well, when we're letting you know that we're here, we're good, and we work for far less than most real estate agents, while still doing a great job for home buyers and sellers all across southeastern Wisconsin. You can believe what we say, or you can base the truth on what others say, like when you read our multitude of 5-star Google reviews, or when we can talk to you about our growth. The numbers don't lie, and they prove that more and more people are finding out the real value that Benefit Realty delivers. Why pay more when you can pay far less for full service? Benefit-realty.com.
Save now during the President's Day sale at Ken Michaels Furniture. Special factory incentives make this the perfect time to save on a new sofa, chair, or sectional crafted by Norwalk Furniture. With over 850 fabric and leather options and over 100 different styles, you can create the look you want, and in just 35 days, it's ready for delivery. Can't wait? All our inventory is sale priced and ready for immediate delivery. Shop today and save at any of our Ken Michaels Furniture stores in Brookfield, Greenfield, or downtown Milwaukee. Sleep better and save more with mattresses from Milwaukee Mattress and Ken Michaels Furniture. Handcrafted in our Milwaukee factory, our mattresses utilize natural materials like cotton cushioning, which dissipates body heat, Joma wool quilts for warm wintry nights and cool summer evenings, and natural latex providing superior conformability and pressure relief for aching joints. Stop in today at any Ken Michaels Furniture store and save up to 50% compared to national brands.
Welcome back to Spanning the State. I am Kristin Brey, here with my guest co-host for this Friday, Corey Jo Biddle.
Hello.
Corey Jo, how do you feel about a mild winter? Are you pro-winter or anti-winter?
I'm a Wisconsinite.
I know.
I want snow.
You do? Okay. So you're not like, ooh, this is...
No, I want to shovel for hours. I mean, honestly, I do. I miss
Do you not
it.
snowblow? You shovel?
I shovel.
Do your kids shovel with you?
No. They don't. They know nothing about it. I mean, they ask me questions about how many snow days did you have when you were growing up? And I'm like, snow days? We walked miles in the snow. You guys don't know. But I definitely feel like I am that sturdy Wisconsinite that loves a good freeze.
So you like the snow, but how do you feel about the cold?
I didn't wear a coat today.
Okay.
I'm Wisconsinite.
Flex. That's a flex.
I am. I love it.
So you're bummed that we don't have any snow this year.
Yeah, I remember when I was in college, I went to school in Tulsa, Oklahoma, and if it one sprinkle, one dusting, the whole city shut down. And I'm outside, no, you don't shut down. You just keep going. It's I just miss it.
Yeah.
It's a little crazy, but I miss it.
I miss it too.
Yeah.
The one storm we had in January was really fun.
Yes.
Even though shoveling the ice mound at our driveway that had been plowed. It was like, and then it froze.
Yeah.
And so with the ice pick, and the neighbors came out and helped. And there's some camaraderie there. But we complain about it because it feels more like winter when it's here. But there are so many businesses across the state, up north. I know John McCure in the Afternoon News has covered this pretty extensively as far as the businesses up north that are really struggling, that can qualify for disaster relief, which feels backwards as far as what hasn't happened is also what's creating the disaster versus what we're used to hearing as a hurricane or a tornado. But also the 2024 50th Annual American Birkebeiner started this week. Snow or no snow. And I know other people have talked to representatives from the event itself, but I wanted to talk to a friend that I've known since middle school who has deep roots with this event. And I immediately texted him. He lives in Milwaukee. And I said, "Are you still going this year?" He goes, "Oh, yeah, absolutely." And he and his brother are driving up right now. His parents are already there. His dad raced yesterday, finished his 39th Berkey at 69 years old. And the Berkey is 50,000 kilometers.
It's 30 miles.
It's 50 kilometers. Sorry, it's 50 kilometers. And so it's 30 miles.
30
so
miles.
It's a marathon. It's a marathon on skis.
On skis.
Which feels hard.
And it's not on an incline.
Absolutely. And so when we come back, we're going to be talking to my friend Reed. And he and his brother are headed up north. We'll talk more about what to expect, what their dad told them as far as what the short loop feels like now that it's only 10 kilometers. But if you want to learn more about the Berkey, there's actually a great profile with some awesome pictures written by Dave Kallman in the Journal Sentinel. So text the word Berkey, BIRKIE, to WTMJ talk and text line 855-616-1620, and we will send you over that story. Next, we will be talking to Reed Cooper about his family's tradition of going to the Berkey. This is Spanning the State on WTMJ.
It's the last resort that comes with a grueling and painful recovery. And from what I've been told, it never really feels quite natural. A total knee replacement may make the pain you're living with eventually go away, but it opens up a Pandora's box of other possible issues. And that's why surgeons who really do care will tell you that it's a last resort. There are other surgeons who cry, "Replace! Replace!" But the physicians you'll find at Rejuvenex are primarily concerned with relief. And you may find out that the relief we give you helps so much so that you may not need to get that total knee replacement. This is Richard Salinas, registered nurse with Rejuvenex Arthritis Clinics. Our FDA-approved pain treatments aid inflammation and lubricate your joints. And in most cases, insurance has been shown to cover the costs. At Rejuvenex, we can alleviate your pain, and that'll rejuvenate your life. Go to rejuvenex.com to request your appointment.
AccuNet Mortgage is an equal housing lender. NMLS ID 255368.
Steve and Ashley heard our radio ads over the years, and when it came time to buy their first home, clicked on the blue button. One of our senior loan consultants, Brad, sent them a credit-verified pre-approval the same day, and then upgraded to a rock-solid, fully verified and guaranteed pre-approval shortly thereafter. They made a couple offers without success, and then Brad told them about AccuNet's new property-specific pre-approval, where we might be able to include those magic words, "no appraisal required." When they wrote their next offer, several $1,000s over asking to make sure someone else didn't end up sleeping in their dream home, their property-specific rock-solid guaranteed pre-approval included that most powerful phrase, "no appraisal required," and the sellers picked Steve and Ashley's offer over several others. If you think all mortgage lenders and pre-approvals are the same, think again. Go with a local mortgage lender that has the tools and know-how to help you win and save money, too. Click on the blue button today at accunet.com.
Imagine, if you will, a wonderland of vehicles. An entire convention center filled with the things you love to drive. It's the Milwaukee Auto Show at the Baird Center downtown, February 24th through March 3rd. Immerse yourself in the latest new cars and trucks. The Milwaukee Auto Show. For tickets, go to autoshowmilwaukee.com.
Right now, the prices of diamonds are probably the lowest we'll see in our lifetime.
Diamond prices are low, low, low. Here's why.
It was hard to meet new people during COVID.
When a person meets their soulmate, they usually get engaged about 39 months later.
People started dating again only about 36 months ago.
Most of the people who got engaged during COVID
or immediately after COVID
were already in a relationship before the COVID lockdown began.
The Wall Street Journal even published a story about all of this.
Low sales of engagement rings created a worldwide oversupply of diamonds.
But now, engagement ring sales are beginning to pick up again.
By the end of next spring, this temporary oversupply will be gone.
And diamond prices will start climbing like crazy.
If you ever wanted to own a big diamond, this is the year to do it.
Find the Kesslers nearest you at KesslersDiamonds.com.
If you want to own a big diamond, the time is now.
Welcome back to Spanning the State. I am Kristin Brey, along with Corey Joe Biddle. And our next guest, I have been friends with since middle school. The only reason I know what the Birkenbeiner is because of him and his family. Because our family, not big. We were big in basketball. We were not big cross-country skiers. But I just remember this being a big thing for their family, and they would go every year. So as soon as the news came out that the 50th annual Birkie was absolutely not canceling due to no snow, I knew I wanted to talk to him because the whole Cooper family is going to be there. Reed Cooper, thanks for making time for us.
Hey, how are you? I got the Birkie fever over here.
Are you? So you're all packed up? You're ready to go? Where in Wisconsin are you right now?
We are. I'm driving up with my brother Burke, who is ironically named after the race. One of the only years my dad missed doing the race was when my brother Burke was born. So I'm in the car with him. We're driving up. We're an hour away from Hayward. It's a strange drive because there's no snow anywhere to be found. So it's unlike any drive I've ever made for the race.
And I have to imagine it's just like a phenomenon where you feel like this is unlike any time we've ever driven up here to just see everything be brown.
It really is. And, I can't ever remember a time driving up from Madison or Milwaukee that there hasn't been snow on the drive up. It's hard to believe that they're even able to pull it off this year. I'm glad they are. It means a lot to a lot of people in Wisconsin, families like ours that have been doing this for a long time, since we were kids, kind of jumping in the car with our parents and driving up and kind of being part of this race that is one of 20 in the world, the only one in the U.S., and to be able to have that in Wisconsin, and people travel from all over the world and the U.S. to participate in it is a pretty cool thing. So it's lucky that they're still able to do it. My dad finished his 39th race yesterday. He did the open track, and he said it was very bizarre because you're skiing on a 10K loop and everything around you is just barren.
That's such a strange experience. But you said he had a pretty good time.
He did. My dad beats me quite handily every single year, and he's 69 years old, so he still has bragging rights. He finished in just over 2 hours for the 30K race, and I marvel at him every year. It's inspiring actually for me and my brothers that he's able to kind of keep going year after year and do it. It's the reason kind of we got into it, just to be able to go up with him and spend time. But he also lets us know every year that he's still like the top dog in the house.
How long does it take you and your brothers to do it?
Well, that's a great question, Kristin, because I've had in a normal year I've had everywhere from 4 hours and 40 minutes all the way to 7.5 hours. We like to say we are nowhere near the Olympians that come in and do it, but of the 7,000 people, we make sure we finish, and time is just a minor detail.
So how did you even train this year? Because there's no snow. Did you go by a Nordic track?
This will be the race tomorrow. Will be my first time on cross country skis this year. It is not something I recommend doing, but it is just unfortunately the reality of the situation. So, luckily stay fit enough through the course of the year. It's not a preferred training method, but it will have to do this year, and I'm just glad it's a shortened 30K race instead of the full 50.
So have you made any international friends over the years? Like, are there people you're expecting to see that you know that this is the one time a year you get to see them?
Yeah, there are. It's more, people from around the Midwest and that kind of travel in to do it, whether it's friends that this guy might be the only time I see him during the course of the year. We have a big get-together with a bunch of other families that come up and friends that do it. It's gotten anywhere from, as big as 60 people that, this might be the only time you see them during the course of the year. So it's fun to kind of sit around with them, laugh, tell stories. Everyone has a unique Berkey experience, and that's one of the cool things about the race is it means something different to a lot of different people. Whether you're a first-time recreational person doing the Cordy, the half race, or this is your 20th year of doing the full Berkey, everyone's got a kind of a different story to tell and kind of trials and tribulations of their race experience. So that's one of the fun things is just kind of getting together.
Oh, he's getting okay.
Laughing and telling stories together.
And do you guys ever wear outfits? Do you ever have some fun outfits? Because I know that's part of some people dress in costume.
It is. I like to say back where we're doing the race and the time that we're coming in, it's kind of like the fun wave. I've had a friend wear a full cow outfit doing the race. I've had a friend that kind of went down to basically a swimsuit coming up Main Street to finish. So you see a lot of different things back on the back end of the waves than you do with the elite waves, where I've got friends that do that as well. But it's a different experience as you get farther back in the race.
Well, and I have to imagine this year will be an even bigger, different experience. I can't wait to hear how it went, what it was like. Hopefully next year it's back to normal. But Reed Cooper, good luck this weekend. Thanks for spending some time with us. Can't wait to see some pictures and say hi to your parents for me.
I will do. Thanks for having me, and go Berkey.
Go Berkey. If you want to learn more about the Berkey, there is a great profile in the Journal Sentinel. Text the word Berkey, B-I-R-K-I-E, to the WTMJ talk and text line 855-616-1620, and we will send you that story. Or if you have a fun story, if you've ever done the Berkey, if you've gone up there, if you know what it's like, we would love to hear from you. WTMJ talk and text line 855-616-1620. This is Spanning the State on WTMJ.
Be our eyes on the road. See something out there that I should know about?
Hi there. I was calling to report a traffic accident for your traffic reporter, Debbie Lazica.
Call me, Debbie Lazica, at thehallmazda.com traffic tip line at 414-238-9329.
Hi, Debbie. It's Michael. Eastbound 894, there's the fender bender, and these guys are blocking the right lane.
The drive affects you. Why not be part of it? Give me a call, 414-238-9329.
Hey 620 WTMJ fans, Gary Ellison here for my friends at Best Electric Services. They're family owned and operated and have been serving you for over 50 years. No job is too big or too small, whether it's completing a residential or commercial project or even installing electrical vehicle charging. Best Electric provides quality service at fair prices. They are experienced and licensed electrical contractors ready to get to work. Connect with the Best Electric Services. Find out what they can do for you and visit bestelect.com today.
A new year means new goals for Wisconsin hoops teams. The red and white will make a run to the tournament, and Milwaukee is eyeing up a playoff run in the spring. As Wisconsin's 3PL Evans Transportation knows, it takes a team effort to make those runs, and when it comes to manufacturers' accounting, shipping, and tracking needs, Evans is the supply chain team for you. Good luck to all Wisconsin hoops teams from Wisconsin's 3PL. Find them at evanstrans.com.
Flooring, carpeting, bath, or kitchen remodeling. Adair is the name Milwaukee has trusted for 65 years. This is Rob Adair. Ready to remodel? Give us a call, 761-3660. Get personal care from Adair, South 27th in Franklin.
Make a stop at the Harley-Davidson Museum before heading out to the Mama Tried Motorcycle Show. They'll have food and drink specials from the motor bar and restaurant. Explore their newest exhibit, Mama Tried, bringing it together, and take a free shuttle to the rave for Saturday's show. The HD Factory Outlet Sale in Rumble includes fantastic deals on end of season and discontinued Harley-Davidson motor clothes and merchandise. Don't miss the fun pre-show gatherings. Thursday, February 22nd through Sunday, February 25th at the Harley-Davidson Museum.
At Blaine's Farm and Fleet, we get you quality name brand workwear and footwear because we get you. From the farm to the job site to your own backyard, we have great deals on your favorite rugged styles for spring. Right now, earn $50 in Carhartt bucks when you spend $200 on Carhartt gear. Save $5 on assorted styles of men's Dickies Flex Tough Max pants. And all men's DeWalt work boots are on sale, $10 off. Plus, this Saturday and Sunday, don't miss free snack samples in store during Blaine's Farm and Fleet sampling event.
Bikers need protection, not just from other drivers, but unfortunately from insurance companies too. If you've been injured in a motorcycle crash, call Gruber Law Offices today. Bikers are often blamed for causing the accident because the insurance companies simply don't want to pay. At Gruber Law Offices, we've been fighting for injured bikers and their families for more than 30 years. Trust us to fight for what you deserve. Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all.
Welcome back to Spanning the State. I am Kristin Brey, here with Corey Joe Biddle. So you like the snow?
Love the snow.
Did you know that the Berkey was a thing before today?
No, when I did not know about it because I didn't have best friends that did this kind of stuff growing up. No, so I started reading about it when you told me.
We're going to be talking about this on Friday.
The first 5 minutes of my research, I was horrified.
Because you were like, I would never do this.
I would never do this. I went 30 miles in this. There's no incline. I didn't grow up skiing.
There's no gravity to pull you down.
Yeah, it's just it's all core, and I am moderately active, edging on sedentary. So this is not. No, give me volleyball, give me basketball,
any winter sports.
Not really.
Outdoor winter sports, I should say.
Not really outdoor winter sports. But the thing that seemed kind of cool about this is when I learned about the Barkey.
The Barkey,
where people that go on the path with their dogs. I thought that was so cute. But I think the fact that it's more of a festival environment than just skiing. Now that part, because I'm not afraid of the cold, I could participate.
You could party.
I could party.
You're like, I want to do the social events.
Yes, I can be social, but I won't ski. So yeah, I'm glad it's still happening. And I'm glad that they had the foresight to preserve the snow so that they could put it back,
actually have a route.
Yeah, that's how it's happening. They saved some of the snow that we got this year.
They saved some of the snow,
and then
they made snow. There was truckloads of snow that they put down for the course, and so it's typically the finish line, as I understand it, is typically in Hayward, but the whole track this time around is in Cable, Wisconsin, and I think some of the festivities are still happening in Hayward, but it's not the same environment as far as coming across the finish line and having everyone there in downtown Hayward.
Yeah, I've just never thought about the economic impact of snow. It really highlights how much of our community, our natural environment, drives industry and tourism and practice and behavior. So,
have you spent much time up north?
Not too much.
What's the furthest north in Wisconsin you've gone to as a Milwaukee native?
I was dating this guy one time, and he went to school, and he said, you should come back to my where I went to school, and we'll go to the Bluffs. And I was like, I don't know how to play poker. Because he said Bluffs. That's how I'm a Milwaukee girl, through and through. I don't know.
So did you go though?
I did. Yeah.
Where was it?
It was Lacrosse.
Okay. So that's across. That's across.
Yes,
that's
across, but that's
north.
Maybe it's a little more north than this, but that's as far north as I've been. I'm not that I wouldn't go, but I'm just a Milwaukee girl.
Absolutely. Well, we'll get you up there. We'll get you out on a snowmobile one of these days. Yeah. All right. Well, coming up next, what does country music, Beyonce, and Wisconsin's state dance have in common? Corey Joe is going to tell us. We're also going to go to Potosi, Wisconsin. So stay tuned. This is Spanning the State on WTMJ.
WTMJ, W277CV, and WKTI HD2 Milwaukee from the Annex Wealth Management Studios. This is News Radio WTMJ, a Good Karma brand station.
Here at Richlands, we offer both comfort service and expert service.
Our comfort service comes with movie theater popcorn, hot gourmet coffee, upfront pricing, on-time scheduling, plus anything else we can do to keep you comfortable.
Put that on top of honest service from the most friendliest, hard-working people you'll ever meet inside a tire and service center, and well, we'd like to believe we're on the right track to meeting your expectations.
But when your check engine light, tire light, or any other light screams, "Service me," well, that means you're due for our other type of service.
Our expert service. Tires, brakes, belts, mufflers, transmissions, and even engine repair.
Come on into Richlands and put our expert service to the test.
And while you're relaxing, enjoy our comfort services too. I'm Brett Matchke with Richlands, your
due for service.
Since 1964, we've changed your tires and so much more. Richlands Tire and Service, such a refreshing change. Richlands.
That bathroom of yours, its look is more than worn on its welcome. And a remodeling job? Right now, that's just a little too steep for your checkbook. Well, Lester's Glass Service can give your bathroom a fresh new look, an affordable upgrade that can really produce some pretty desirable results. You could replace that drab shower curtain and install a gorgeous new glass shower door. Why don't you come by our showroom in Hales Corners? And when you get here, we can share with you the myriad of options you have available. Decorative glass, stained glass, beveled mirrors, improvements you may not have realized you could do. This is Stacy Sinks with Les's Glass Service, and glass and mirrors have been our business for over 35 years. You know, my dad Les says, when you're good, you last. So if it's a new glass shower door, fogged or broken insulated glass replacement, or affordable glass and mirror home decor that you've been looking for, you just can't pass on Les's Glass. Les's Glass Service, serving all of southeastern Wisconsin. Find us at lesglassservice.com.
Artwork, especially original artwork, can be pricey. But when you take it in on consignment from nice people like you who are just ready to change the look of their home, you can price it right. And you'll find a lot of it at Design Exchange. Beautiful frame pieces by a number of notable artists. And new ones pop in all the time. This is Katie with Design Exchange, where discerning buyers with discriminating tastes come to find premium home decor at a value. In Heartland and Pewaukee.
Design Exchange.
In Heartland, you're going to find a focus on distinctive furniture, unique antiques, and original artwork, along with tasteful home decor that can fit almost any budget. In Pewaukee, the focus is on kitchen, outdoor, and garden decor, and all of it is priced at 25 to 40% off retail. This is Katie with Design Exchange, where discerning buyers with discriminating tastes come to find premium home decor on consignment at a value.
Design Exchange.
Trusted, relevant, locally owned, locally programmed. We are Wisconsin's radio station. News Radio 620, WTMJ Milwaukee.
At 2 o'clock, it is 33 degrees. Highs in the morning, then falling temperatures by this afternoon. It's going to be breezy with a high of 41. From the WTMJ Breaking News Center, the mother of Elijah Vu, the missing kid up in Manitowoc County, that's Katrina Bauer, his mother, now held on $15,000 cash bail. She is expected to be formally charged with child neglect as a party to a crime. Manitowoc County DA Jacqueline Brey says she wasn't present, but she sent her child to stay with her co-defendant, Jesse Vang.
She intentionally sent that child for disciplinary reasons for more than a week to the residence. She was aware of the tactics used and the lack of care provided. This was an intentional thing by her.
LaBrie says additional charges of obstruction of justice are coming for Bauer, saying she lied to investigators about her whereabouts this week. Elijah has been missing since Tuesday. The FBI asking for the public's help after robberies at 2 different Hispanic grocery stores.
During the afternoon of January 26th, 3 men entered the Abarrotes La Oriza Bina grocery store in Monroe and stole cash from the register in the cashier's purse. And in the afternoon of February 10th, 3 men robbed Alexandra's Mexican store in Platteville. Anyone with information about these crimes are asked to contact the FBI Milwaukee office. The Bureau is offering a $10,000 reward for information that results in an arrest. Jack Grau, WTMJ News.
Rural hospital closures are becoming a trend across the country, including in Wisconsin. St. Joseph's in Chippewa Falls set to close, as well as several clinics in that area. Mayor Greg Hoffman telling Wisconsin's Midday News how things got to this point.
During the pandemic, they had a considerable amount of veteran staff. They all retired. They were utilizing a lot of traveling nurses.
A bill introduced in Madison would dedicate $15 million to supporting hospitals in that area. Hoffman says it's a start, but their problems are more expensive. Time for news about your money and the WTMJ Annex Wealth Management Market Update. Mixed bag today. The Dow is up. It's up 82 points, almost 0.25%. The S&P is up 7 points. The NASDAQ in the red, down 23. Just 23 points there. Annex Comprehensive Wealth, Annex Private Client, Annex Ignite. Financial planning at every level. Details at annexwealth.com. Sports, traffic, and weather coming up next. Siding Unlimited, WTMJ News. Time is 2:03.
I haven't had anything to eat for days, and being hungry hurts.
Going without oil changes can destroy your engine, but it doesn't compare to the effect of going without food. That's why the Automobile Dealers Association of Metro Milwaukee is determined to make sure no one goes to bed hungry. Through the end of February, they'll donate $1 from every oil change to Feeding America Eastern Wisconsin. Every dollar provides 3 healthy meals. Over the past 13 years, Adam has donated over $820,000, providing more than 2.4 million meals to people across southeastern Wisconsin, the majority being children and seniors. And with today's ongoing challenges, the need is greater than ever. So help the hungry while helping your vehicle. Get your oil changed by Adam Dealer Factory Train Techs at a price as low or lower than independent shops. Visit an Adam member dealer near you.
For a list of participating dealers, visit adamm.com.
If there's any one thing that matters most to home sellers, it's their real estate agent getting as close to their asking price as possible. This is Angela Calais with Benefit Realty, and here's a fact that should get you to think twice before calling anyone else. Statistics reveal Benefit Realty's list price to sale price ratio is over 100%. When you choose Benefit Realty, we're working as hard as we can to get you all that we can. Get proven performance and full service, all for only 3.9% real estate commissions. Benefit-realty.com. This is Angela Calais with Benefit Realty. When it comes to getting the peak price for your home sale, it's all a matter of eyeballs. The more people we get your home listing in front of, the more opportunities arise. At Benefit Realty, we are ultra confident in promising you maximum exposure to your listing. We want to sell it fast and for as much as we can for you. That way, all sides win. And I have to believe that's why we've achieved the strong growth that we have. Maximum exposure means maximum home sale value. Benefit-realty.com.
Time for a WTMJ Sports Update. The Brewers beginning the Cactus League season Saturday afternoon against the Padres. Don't expect to see Kristin Yelich in the first lineup of the spring, but
I feel great right now and looking forward to getting this season started and going. I feel really good with where I'm at, and I thought last year was a good year and keep building on it.
You can hear tomorrow's game as baseball is back on WTMJ beginning at 2 on Saturday, and the Bucks resuming the regular season tonight in Minnesota against the Timberwolves as the All-Star break is over. Coverage begins at 8:30 tonight right here on WTMJ. And now time for your Johnson & Sons paving time saver traffic. And it looks like we've seen that accident that was on 41 northbound at National Avenue. That's cleared and all the backups have now worked themselves out. We're now really only checking on one slowdown. That is 94 westbound coming out of the Marquette and headed right into the stadium interchange. Really strong traffic in the Menominee Valley. But once you get past American Family Field, things are looking good. And everything else is looking good. No major slowdowns or delays or any other accidents.
Traffic is sponsored by the amazing Mineshaft Restaurant in downtown Hartford.
The successful Mineshaft Restaurant in Hartford is hiring positive professional servers and bartenders. You'll make great cash. Inquire today. Start next week. MineshaftRestaurant.com.
Falling temperatures this afternoon. It's going to be breezy with a high of 41 tonight. Decreasing clouds. It's going to be cold. Lake effect snow possible near Racine and Kenosha. A low of 18. Mostly sunny skies on Saturday. A high of 37. Sunday partly cloudy and mild. The high back up to 52. Monday partly cloudy and breezy with a high of 50 at the lake. 58 degrees inland. Tuesday, partly cloudy and breezy, showers and storms in the afternoon. The high is all the way up to 65 degrees. Right now in Madison, it's 40. In Waukesha, it's 35. In Green Bay, it's 24. And in Milwaukee, it is 33 degrees. I'm Wyatt Barmar-Pooley. Sighting Unlimited, WTMJ News Time is 2:07.
65,498 square miles. We've got a lot to cover, so let's get to it. This is Spanning the State. Here's your host.
Welcome back to Spanning the State. My guest host today is Corey Jo Biddle. You're doing great. You're a total natural at this.
Thank you. This is fun. I'm learning so much about Wisconsin.
I know, because you didn't know about the Berkey, and coming up later, you didn't really know much about polka.
I do now.
You do now. And so the connection between Beyonce to country to polka is coming up later in the second half hour of our show, Friday, the first Friday. A reminder, you can always watch this show by going to WTMJ.com, or you can text the word watch to the WTMJ talk and text line at 855-616-1620, and we will shoot you the link to our live stream. And that's part of the gig now, is you don't get to just put a baseball cap on.
They can see us.
They can also see you. Yes, all these cameras around you. So good thing that you dressed up today.
Man, I cleaned up a little bit, lipstick and everything.
All right. Well, part of this show, as we were talking during the break, because I'm so excited that you experienced a little bit more of learning what the Berkey is, and we uncovered that the furthest north you've gone in Wisconsin is La Crosse.
Across to La Crosse.
I'm not sure. There's always an argument of what up north means.
Yeah.
La Crosse is not on there. La Crosse, and no one's definition is considered up north. And so we got to get you further up there. But part of the reason this show was created was to connect Southeast Wisconsin to other parts of the state, for us to learn more about different counties, different regions, but also because you can go to WTMJ.com, you can listen to our podcasts, you can stream this from anywhere now, connecting the rest of the state to Milwaukee, to Southeast Wisconsin. And so coming up in the next, in our next segment, we're going to Potosi. Yes. Do you know where Potosi is?
I was reading about Potosi and I thought, where is this in relation to La Crosse?
Close. It's actually not too far.
Yeah.
We're going over to the Mississippi River. And so when the brewery there closed, it could have sunk the city. But the folks there refused to become another ghost town. So our next guest, Brian Reisinger, will join us to talk about a recent article he had in the Journal Sentinel that connects what happened in Potosi to his deep personal connection to rural Wisconsin. He is a self-proclaimed proud farm boy. And his series that he's been writing for almost a year now in Journal Sentinel is talking about the issues that come up in rural America, rural Wisconsin, and the importance of us in Milwaukee, in cities, us city dwellers, our connection to them, and that it's not a separate big wall of they live a different life, we live our lives here, that they provide our food, they provide a lot of our natural resources, and a lot of the beauty of our state. And so getting to know those stories, getting to know the issues that they're facing is important for all of us to know, to learn.
Every city is faced with questions about economic development and talent, and it looks different in the city versus rural, but it's the same conversation.
Absolutely. So when we come back, we will be talking to Brian Reisinger on the resiliency of Potosi, Wisconsin, learn a little bit more about his experience. This is Spanning the State on WTMJ.
Hey, this is WTMJ Steve Scavidi here to tell you about my new show, The Political Power Hour. Sounds a little familiar, doesn't it? I sit down with experts from across Wisconsin and the country to discuss the issues that are important to you. We'll hear from political analysts, columnists, public safety professionals, journalists, lawyers, and more.
Politics is always about addition and
politics is also about momentum.
I think a lot of working families need childcare in order to make ends meet.
It's the Political Power Hour, weekdays, 9 to 10 on WTMJ.
Our mission is to protect and uphold our reputation. At Semper Fi, it's the banner we all march under, because the reputation we earn and uphold belongs to all of us. And without a strong reputation in the exterior remodeling business, you're here today and gone tomorrow. And when you've earned a good reputation, that's what makes the difference in value. It's the little extra that you get for the price. And that assurance is actually what counts the most, because it means the good money you're spending with us is not going to go to waste. A roof you can rely on, with a warranty that has a backbone. Craftsman quality airtight window and door installations. Brick and stone masonry that's clean and sharp. And new siding that's been known to stop traffic. And it's all backed by a team that over the last 20 years have put a lot of heart and soul into building a reputation that you can believe in. This is Brad Youngbluth with Semper Fi Roofing and Exteriors, your local, veteran-owned and operated exterior remodeling company.
We keep you safe, warm, and dry. Semper Fi.
It's time to say aloha to paradise. Picture powder soft sand, endless turquoise waters, and a frosty cocktail by a beach lounger. Fox World Travel is proud to partner with Apple Vacations to offer exclusive deals that will take you to your dream getaway. With great deals to Hawaii, Fiji, St. Lucia, or the best all-inclusive resorts in Mexico and the Caribbean, our travel experts take the hassle out of traveling to paradise. Visit foxworldtravel.com or call 866-GO-FOX-GO to speak with our vacation travel experts today.
Welcome back to Spanning the State. I am Kristin Brey. She is Corey Jo Biddle. And like we said, one of the goals of this show is to get out of Southeast Wisconsin and highlight stories that are happening across the state. And ultimately, a lot of Wisconsin is very rural. It's a lot of small towns. And our next guest is, in his own words, a farm boy. And he's also a contributing opinion writer for the Journal-Sentinel, where he writes about issues in our state's rural areas. Brian Reisinger, thanks for joining us today. How you doing?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
I'm so excited. We used to do a segment for Journal-Sentinel where we would talk about issues of the day. So I'm excited that since we don't get to do that anymore, I can just have you on the show and we continue to talk about things.
It's so exciting, and I'm just pumped to be here in your new world. I'm loving what you're doing. The place looks great. It's outstanding.
So what took you to Potosi, Wisconsin? Because that's not where you're from. You're from outside of, in the Dane County part of rural Wisconsin, right?
Yeah, I grew up on a farm about an hour west of Madison, Spring Green area, Sauk County. And technically we would claim Potosi because we're all part of the Driftless region and kind of that part of western or southwestern Wisconsin that often feels left behind or forgotten. But it's a little bit of a haul out to Potosi, and you got some bluffs to travel to get out there. What took me there is I was looking for examples of communities that have defied something that's been going on for decades, which is dying rural communities. And Potosi was a place that was as close to death as any rural community you could probably pick on a map, and had overcome it in a way that was really, really interesting to me. So I got in the truck and drove out there to see what's going on, and it was pretty interesting.
So what is the story, Potosi?
So Potosi had a lot of the challenges that many of the rural communities in Wisconsin have had that have been shrinking and maybe even reaching the verge of death, which is that they had a combination of manufacturing jobs leaving in the late part of the 20th century, a combination of farms that were failing, and basically loss of population. There weren't jobs, there weren't farms, there weren't things that would usually give people enough economic opportunity to stick around. So sons and daughters were leaving for the bright lights of the big city or moving to other parts of Wisconsin because they just couldn't find the opportunity. And their population was shrinking. They didn't have the kind of economic activity that comes when you got people in a community. And it was really going down the tubes. And it was kind of becoming a retirement community where more people are dying than being born. And there isn't a lot going on to reverse that.
And so what did they do when you say they were kind of on the brink of becoming a ghost town? What did they do to change gears?
Well, obviously they picked up a Wisconsin classic, which is beer. They had a brewery that had been closed in the 1970s. It was actually one of the really big things that was a big death blow. And the way that people talk about that brewery after it closed was it looked like a bombed-out building from a war-torn country. And it's true. The brewery closed, the company left, and people, over the years would pillage the building for things, grab keepsakes, the walls were crumbling, there was rubble all over the ground. And what they realized is that the Potosi Brewing Company had such a long, storied history. They said, this is something unique about our identity. And they thought about it not only in terms of economic opportunity and what was working and what wasn't, but they said, who are we as a people? And what do we have here that is unique about us? And they realized that this storied history, there was something to that. So there were a combination of small business people who bought the building, local leaders who decided to try to rally the community, volunteers, donors. They raised millions of dollars just from small contributions from citizens all over Potosi to restore the brewery. And they've built an entire, not only economy, but kind of culture and ecosystem around this thing that had once been, for naught.
What I think is so interesting, and I was reading the story, and it was a beautiful story, and I was glad to see the uptick. How long has it been since that uptick has been in place? And what about the young people who aren't leaving necessarily because the jobs left, but because they just don't want to be in a rural community anymore? Yeah, absolutely. It's a great question. So they got the brewery going again in the early 2000s. And I think what that shows is that it's not about any one moment, right? The brewery coming back is such an important thing economically, culturally, symbolically, but they had to keep going beyond that. So they still have people who are working hard. I mean, you go and you talk to current and former village officials or local folks in Potosi, they're working as hard at bringing a small business into downtown Potosi as you would see the greater Milwaukee area work to bring in a huge employer with thousands of jobs. They view it as that important. They're fighting for the life of their community. And so it really kind of started with the brewery and was really the brewery's emblematic of it, but it's ongoing. And it's about the community's identity. It's about entrepreneurs. It's about volunteers. It's about everybody trying to build toward this one common goal. And it's pretty remarkable to see any community head in one big direction like that. That's what I thought was really interesting about Potosi. But you touch on another issue, which is that it's not only because of loss of economic opportunity, but like some people want to be in rural areas, some people want to be in urban areas. There's a reason that our population has changed so much, and there are so many communities that struggle with this. And that's where COVID came in for me. I found it very interesting that, statistically there are rural areas that are now growing because you got an urban workforce that can live, in some cases, can live anywhere and still be working their urban jobs. And you have a rural workforce that's continuing to live or maybe seeing more ability to live in places like Potosi and work remotely for companies. And so the fact that, COVID, catastrophe, terrible situation that it was, created that silver lining is very interesting, where there are a lot of people who've left places like Potosi because they want to live somewhere else. But there's also a lot of people who left or didn't feel like they could stay because they couldn't see the opportunity. And so now it's being paired with more opportunity, more of that flexibility. And Potosi at one time was really swimming against the grain, making themselves a tourism community from a dying community. And now you've got that paired with the fact that there are more people moving back to rural areas, or more people seeing that they have the ability to stay in rural areas and still pursue the other opportunities that they need in their life.
Our guest is Brian Reisinger. Brian, why is this so personal for you?
Oh, it's personal because I am trying to be part of the solution, and I myself am part of this exact problem. So it ties back to something that has really been a big journey for me personally. I grew up on a farm, as we've mentioned, and I grew up working with my dad since I could walk. And I did not have the talent for cattle and tractors that my dad does and that my sister, who's taken over our farm, does. And I grew up for a long time feeling like I didn't fit in and needing to find, where else could I thrive. And I ended up pursuing a writing career, and it took me a lot of different places. But, I'll never forget the hurt in my dad's face when we were on vacation in Nashville, Tennessee. And I turned to him and looked at him and said, I think I'm going to live here someday. And he was crushed because, what our parents want is to have they want their kids to be happy first and foremost. But if they can be happy and be near, that's something that they obviously really love and cherish. And I went away for a number of years. I came back to Wisconsin, and now I live splitting my time between Northern California, where my wife's from and where her job is, and where my work and writing and family are back in Wisconsin. I'm fortunate to have a mobile enough work situation where I go back and forth. But after having moved away and then come back for a number of years and then moved away and kind of split my time, I'm constantly at battle with myself about this, about whether I'm doing enough to help rural communities like the places where I grew up, the places I believe in. So,
well, when we come back, I want to get more information on how we can help rural communities and also what connects us city dwellers or us city folk to the rest of the state and why we should care about these things. Brian Reisinger will be with us when we come back. This is Spanning the State on WTMJ.
This is WTMJ's Sandy Max with a brand new show called What's on Tap. Weeknights at 6, you're invited to join me to take a deeper dive into culture and creativity here in Wisconsin and around the world. Tap into all kinds of entertainment and recreation with me, from music, theater, film, food, and uniquely Wisconsin traditions and landmarks. So pique your curiosity and join me for What's on Tap. And be sure to catch the podcast on your favorite podcast platform.
AccuNet Mortgage is an equal housing lender. NMLS ID 255368.
Steve and Ashley heard our radio ads over the years, and when it came time to buy their first home, clicked on the blue button. One of our senior loan consultants, Brad, sent them a credit-verified pre-approval the same day and then upgraded to a rock-solid, fully verified and guaranteed pre-approval shortly thereafter. They made a couple offers without success, and then Brad told them about AccuNet's new property-specific pre-approval, where we might be able to include those magic words, no appraisal required. When they wrote their next offer, several $1,000s over asking to make sure someone else didn't end up sleeping in their dream home, their property-specific rock-solid guaranteed pre-approval included that most powerful phrase, no appraisal required, and the sellers picked Steve and Ashley's offer over several others. If you think all mortgage lenders and pre-approvals are the same, think again. Go with a local mortgage lender that has the tools and know-how to help you win and save money, too. Click on the blue button today at accunet.com.
The countdown to opening day is on. Get your tickets for an action-packed 2024 Brewers season now. That's any game you want, any way you want. All season, featuring brand new giveaways, brand new theme nights and community nights, can't miss ticket deals, and all the season's best Brewers action. Make sure you're here for every moment. Check out the complete schedule and grab your seats now at brewers.com/tickets.
Vince Vitrano here for Connect Chiropractic. I've had chiropractic care on and off my entire adult life. I can tell you Dr. Alex and his team at Connect Chiropractic do it different. No twisting, no cracking, no popping. At Connect Chiropractic, they use a special tool for adjustments focused on restoring nerve and muscle function. It's not just making your neck and back feel better, although mine already do. Connect Chiropractic can help with headaches, sciatica, vertigo, and more. Schedule an appointment now at goconnectchiro.com. Tell them Vinny sent you. goconnectchiro.com.
Don't let a cold, sinus infection, or allergies ruin your day. Breathe easier, sleep better, and feel healthier with Navage. Visit Navage.com, Walmart, Walgreens, CVS, or a store near you.
Welcome back to Spanning the State. My name is Kristin Brey. I'm here with Corey Joe Biddle, and we are talking to Brian Reisinger on rural Wisconsin, rural America, what we need to be doing and thinking about when it comes to, I don't want to say, savings sounds really patronizing. That's not the word that I want to say. How would you refer to this, Brian?
Yeah, I think we're talking about rebirth because the problem isn't that sometimes certain economic opportunities go away or people need to find opportunity elsewhere, but the problem is that there isn't a rebirth, and trying to find what's that next act for a lot of these places that were maybe based on an older form of economy or a form of economy that maybe is still here but isn't quite what it once was. That's the way I look at it.
Are there other examples you've come across in your writing, in your research, that other communities that are doing this well as far as a rebirth?
Yeah, absolutely. So there are communities all across the state that are doing this well. I think a lot of communities in Door County have found a way to do this. That sounds like an obvious answer because of tourism, but somebody had to think about that. Somebody had to create that, right? When you look at like Viroqua, you look at Paoli outside Madison. That's a place where there's like a great beer garden and tons of really cool small businesses and things like that. They're just, you drive through there and it kind of feels like, oh, all of a sudden there's something going on here, So there's places like that too. I actually had we did a video about this for the column that was on jsonline.com. So it's kind of related, but there's a bar called Junior's Tavern that is right near the farm where I grew up, and the towns nearby are among those who've been shrinking for a long time. And there was a guy named Sean Shell who bought what was this old bar that had, kind of some regulars and would get some bikers to come by now and then, snowmobile crew here and there. But he bought this bar and he totally redid it, reinvigorated it. And now it's like a spot for the bikers and the snowmobilers and the hunters and people from out of town and bicyclists. And like, it's like this like really kind of wild hopping place in a kind of almost feels like in the middle of nowhere. And it makes it even better, and so you see little kind of glimmers of hope like that.
So with the couple minutes that we have left, I want to hammer home why Corey, Joe, me, any of us sitting here in our downtown Milwaukee studio, what connects us to rural communities? Why should we be invested in them even though we don't live there?
Yeah, absolutely. There are kind of two economies in this country. There's probably a million different economies, right? But if you want to break it down simply, there's rural economy and the urban economy. And the challenge that we have for the urban economy is if the rural economy fails us, it really is pretty foundational. So think about where your food comes from. Think about where our natural resources come from, whether it's food and fishing, whether it's lumber, whether it's mining for energy, for metals, whatever the case may be. If we actually have a full-out collapse of the rural economy, the urban economy will collapse too. And that sounds kind of doomsday, but it's true. We're interconnected. The other reason is the rural-urban divide. And the more that rural areas feel left behind, the less able people there are able to see what's going on in the city and feel anything other than resentful about it. And that's just one of many ingredients that are helping to further divide our country. So we need to understand that our two economies depend on one another, and that really from a cultural standpoint, we need to stop dividing ourselves based on where we live. And I think if we can find a way to continue to encourage more of the rebirth in these rural communities that we're talking about, that can be part of making sure that we have an economy that supports, urban areas and also just a healthier state, a healthier country, and something to maybe start to heal some of those divisions, which is probably a whole nother show segment, but it's related.
Tell us, who's fueling the rebirth in communities like Potosi? Like, they raise so much money for the initial spark of change in investment in tourism. Is it community? Is it foundations? And is there anything that we can be doing to support that?
Absolutely. That is such a great question, because I think a lot of times people assume that when that happens, it's maybe because of like a huge government grant or something like that. And there's certainly a place for those things. But the amazing thing that happened in Potosi is, so they raised like $4 million some odd in the first run to be able to do this. And more than half of that came from small local contributions. There was foundations and other stuff, but like no taxpayer money went toward it. And there was a big chunk of like money from like large foundations. So there was a as big or even bigger chunk that just came from people throwing $5 in the jar, And I think that what that ties back to is that the most important thing here is an idea. They had an idea of what their identity was and ought to be, and everything else flowed from there.
Brian, one last question in 10 seconds. You're a country music fan. Thoughts on Beyonce?
Oh my gosh! I want
not too long for 10 seconds. We got to let you go, Brian.
I want to hear her cover.
I'll get that answer later.
You keep listening.
ABC News and local headlines are next. Thanks, Brian.
ABC News, I'm Michelle Franzen. The U.S. imposing additional sanctions against Russia in response to the death of Alexei Navalny, and 2 years marking Russia's war in Ukraine. National Security Council spokesperson John Kirby asked if 2 years of previous sanctions have impacted Russia.
We know that it's had an effect. I mean, my goodness, Mr. Putin's reaching out to Iran now for potentially close-range ballistic missiles, and he's been reaching out to North Korea for artillery shells and for ballistic missiles as well.
Ukraine's Air Force commander confirming that Ukraine shot down a Russian reconnaissance planes over the Sea of Azov today. The former FBI informant, already charged with lying to the FBI about President Biden and his son Hunter's overseas finances, along with ties to Russian intelligence, has been rearrested. He's due in court Monday. And last-minute campaigning in South Carolina ahead of tomorrow's GOP primary. Former President Trump holds a wide lead against rival Nikki Haley. This is ABC News.
Siding Unlimited, WTMJ News time is 2:31.
The mother of missing 3-year-old Elijah Vu is being charged with being party to the crime of child neglect. Katrina Bauer is being held on $15,000 cash bail with additional charges of obstruction coming. She will be in court again on Monday. The Milwaukee County Sheriff's Office investigating a body found on the Lapham off-ramp on southbound I-43. The deputy sheriff's confirming a person found without a pulse and not breathing at the location. No information about the deceased has been made available. And 3 UW-Madison students recovering after falling through the ice on Lake Mendota overnight near the Alumni House. UW-Madison police reminding students and residents that the ice on that lake is too thin, not safe to be out on, and this comes at the same time that Lake Michigan's ice levels are at record lows as well. Time for news about your money, the WTMJ Annex Wealth Management Market Update, and we are still where we were. We have got the Dow and S&P both up, the NASDAQ down. The Dow is up 88, the S&P up only 3, and the NASDAQ is down 59. Time for it's a great time for your retirement and investment strategy review from a fee-only fiduciary. Go to annexwealth.com. You can click the Get Started button now. Taking a look at your roads, it's your Johnson & Sons Paving Time Saver traffic. Still seeing a tap of the brakes in the Menominee Valley. Looks like the slowest right now is right through the stadium interchange, but that's all you'll have to worry about. It's only a couple of minutes. Taking a look at your 5-day forecast. Falling temperatures this afternoon, breezy with a high of 41. Decreasing clouds and cold tonight. Lake effect near Racine and Kenosha, a low of 18. Tomorrow is going to be mostly sunny with a high of 37. I'm Wyatt Barmore-Pooley, Siding Unlimited. WTMJ News time is 2:33.
Save now during the President's Day sale at Ken Michaels Furniture. Special factory incentives make this the perfect time to save on a new sofa, chair, or sectional crafted by Norwalk Furniture. With over 850 fabric and leather options and over 100 different styles, you can create the look you want, and in just 35 days, it's ready for delivery. Can't wait? All our inventory is sale priced and ready for immediate delivery. Shop today and save at any of our Ken Michaels Furniture stores in Brookfield, Greenfield, or downtown Milwaukee. Sleep better and save more with mattresses from Milwaukee Mattress and Ken Michaels Furniture. Handcrafted in our Milwaukee factory, our mattresses utilize natural materials like cotton cushioning, which dissipates body heat, Joma wool quilts for warm wintry nights and cool summer evenings, and natural latex providing superior conformability and pressure relief for aching joints. Stop in today at any Ken Michaels Furniture store and save up to 50% compared to national brands.
It's the last resort that comes with a grueling and painful recovery. And from what I've been told, it never really feels quite natural. A total knee replacement may make the pain you're living with eventually go away, but it opens up a Pandora's box of other possible issues. And that's why surgeons who really do care will tell you that it's a last resort. There are other surgeons who cry,
Replace! Replace!
But the physicians you'll find at Rejuvenex are primarily concerned with relief. And you may find out that the relief we give you helps so much so that you may not need to get that total knee replacement. This is Richard Salinas, registered nurse with Rejuvenex Arthritis Clinics. Our FDA-approved pain treatments aid inflammation and lubricate your joints. And in most cases, insurance has been shown to cover the costs. At Rejuvenex, we can alleviate your pain, and that'll rejuvenate your life.
Alleviate your pain, rejuvenate your life.
Go to rejuvenex.com to request your appointment.
Welcome back to Spanning the State. I am Kristin Brey, here with Corey Joe Biddle. And while we don't do a lot of pop culture on this show, and we won't, sometimes pop culture does relate back to Wisconsin. And somehow, Corey Joe, you found this connection because if you were unaware, Beyonce is coming out with a country album.
Yes,
She's
she
dropped
is.
2 songs. And tell me the rabbit hole you went down because of this.
I'm exposing my mind. I don't know if this is a good thing or not, but this is how it went. So the announcement is made that Beyonce is doing this country album, and of course, some people love it, other people don't. Her mother takes to social media to say, look, we're from Houston. Country is in this woman's roots. You know, she loves music. This is not odd. This is not a reach. So I start thinking, what if I was a pop icon from Wisconsin and I was going to switch it up and do something different that was related to the state I'm from? I really thought that.
I love that.
That's what I thought. And
but
so
you didn't know.
I didn't know. I had no idea, and it made me Google what Wisconsin music has roots in other places, and polka came up. So look,
polka. Beyonce, now I think Beyonce should do a polka album.
She kind of. Back off.
She
Beyonce.
could. Let's be honest. She could if she wanted to.
She could if she wanted to. Polka is the soundtrack of Wisconsin, which is something I did not know.
It's our state dance.
And it's our state dance. So, there we go. So the more I learn about polka, the more my childhood starts to make sense to me.
Okay, so explain more about that.
Okay. Elementary school, picture it. I'm 8 years old. Baby Corey. 8 years old, baby Corey. We're in gym class, and all of a sudden, we're learning polka dance. And I get paired with Greg Zielinski, who was on the student council with me, and we're going to learn polka. And we didn't know what we went from doing like crunches and climbing the rope to like the next session was like, okay, now we're going to learn polka. And the transition didn't make any sense to me until now. So Greg and I had to get uncomfortably close to each other's faces. We lock hands with one set of
one hand up. He puts his hand on your waist.
On the back, and then to my left and to his right, and we just start polka dancing. And
this is actually a good time if you want to watch. And text to the WTMJ text and line and watch us pretend to polka. 855-616-1620. This is probably a good time to actually watch us. So you learned how to polka.
And
is that the last time you did polka?
Probably not. Okay. I think after we learned it, because it's like, who stole the kishka? And like we're kind of like laughing and playing, and it's like roll out the barrel. I still don't know what a kishka is, but it was delicious because somebody stole it from the butcher. And I'm thinking as a kid, what's in the barrel that's going to make things so
fun?
Why
are we rolling it out?
What are we like? There was no connection. We didn't make the connection as kids, but it is so much a part of my childhood.
But you didn't know what it was actually. Why was this introduced to you? They never threaded that needle.
You know what? And I was thinking they should have threaded the needle. I was 8. They probably did, and we just weren't listening.
Fair.
So, all of these are roots in our connection to Eastern Europe and to
Germany.
Polish people. Czech, all this. The roots are so deep. And here I am, a little black girl from the north side of Milwaukee, learning the polka. And it's a vivid memory, and I love it. And it spans Wisconsin. This is how it started, but that's how I got there.
My best polka story. So my brother had a very extravagant wedding in Positano, Italy. And the woman he married was very international. They had traveled lots. So this is a wedding that was beautiful at an unbelievable villa looking over the Mediterranean Sea. It was a black tie event. There were people from everywhere from China to Mauritius to Europe, and then there was a lot of Wisconsin people.
Of course.
And the plan for my brother and his dance with my mom, they were going to trick people. So everyone's in tuxes and gowns, and my mom, that's the last time I think I've seen my mom in a dress that was this expensive. And they start playing, I think, a pretty cheesy, typical mother-son type song, and they're slow dancing together, and about 30 seconds in, it changes to roll out the barrel. And my brother and my mom start polka-ing are in front of the entire guest list.
Yes.
And everyone from Wisconsin started cheering, and everyone from overseas, especially I think my sister-in-law's Chinese relatives were like, what?
What is this?
And so we did. We rolled out the barrel there. And so that's...
we love it.
We love polka.
It's part
Just
of us.
don't get hurt while you're doing it.
Yeah, a little pain is okay.
All right. Well... Thanks for going on that journey with us from Beyonce to polka, but I do think I would buy that album, a Beyonce polka album. All right, when we come back, Corey Joe's going to tell us a little bit more about what it takes to work on attracting and retaining talent in Milwaukee. This is Spanning the State on WTMJ.
Abby, window
Do you know that we have over 8 different ways to install a replacement window? Most companies only have one. Not all homes are built the same, look the same, or even have the same old windows to remove. So how can you only have one way to install them? The answer is simple. It's quick and easy. Well, that's not us, and it will never be us. You can have peace of mind that the install we recommend is the one that will last a lifetime. If you want your windows installed only once and done right the first time, then call Abby today. And if somebody asks you if you know a guy in the business, you can say no, but I know a girl.
Don't just dream of paradise, live it. Escape the ordinary with Fox World Travel and set sail for an island-hopping adventure. With exclusive rates on the world's finest cruise lines, we are proud to partner with Holland America, Princess, and Royal Caribbean and take you to sun-soaked beaches, historic ruins, or the exotic wilderness. Only unpack once and let adventure be your guide. Visit foxworldtravel.com or call 866-GO-FOX-GO and set sail for adventure.
Meet Alan, who was diagnosed with sleep apnea.
I was what they call a mouth breather, and I would breathe at night with my mouth open.
And for about 8 years, Alan struggled with a CPAP machine. And then
I saw the Advent commercial, and I thought, well, what do you got to lose? This machine is miserable.
For most people, CPAP machines are miserable, but a simple breathing triangle solution from Advent can be life-changing.
And it really was, to me, it was amazing because I don't think I ever breathed that clear.
This is Dr. Madan Kandula. After having one of Advent's simple breathing triangle procedures, people are amazed at how freely and clearly they can breathe.
I'm happy with the procedure. I'm very glad I did it. I wish I would have done it 20 years ago. I could have avoided that machine I had to have laying next to the bed with the hose wrapped around my head.
Schedule your appointment at adventknows.com because Advent knows when you breathe well, you live better. Results may vary.
There's a reason people sold to Grandview Homes instead of using a real estate agent.
We needed to sell Mom's home quickly and with a company we could rely on.
No showings, no closing costs, no added stress.
Visit GrandviewHomes.com to discover the easiest and fastest way to sell a home.
Love your car this February with Griffin's Service Department Valentine's Special. For just $179.95, your car gets the royal treatment, oil change, tire rotation, air filter, and wiper blade replacement. Complete multi-point inspections. Plus, we'll even check your battery and heating system. Available at all 5 Griffin service departments. See Griffin for details and restrictions. At Griffin, show your car some love.
Join Special Olympics Wisconsin at this year's Polar Plunge, celebrating 25 years of plunging. The Polar Plunge raises funds for Special Olympics Wisconsin athletes. Folks in the area will be freezing for a reason on Saturday, February 24th at Foxbrook Park in Brookfield. This is your chance to support athletes who are breaking down barriers to build communities of inclusion. Register today and do your part for Special Olympics Wisconsin. Visit plungewi.org for details or to donate. That's plungewi.org.
Welcome back to Spanning the State. I am Kristin Brey. She is Corey Jo Biddle.
Yes.
We're going to polka after this. You'll find a polka dance hall later today.
I'm going to Google Kishka. So I
think someone texted in. They said it's a blood sausage. Have you had blood sausage?
I don't know. Maybe I have.
I think you'd know. I think it's pretty obvious when you're eating it. You're like, oh, this looks like there's blood in it.
Blood sausage. It sounds delicious.
So I want to at least end on what you actually do at MMAC, and because a lot of what you do is not terribly far off from what Brian was talking about as far as getting people to stay in smaller communities, getting people jobs, bringing jobs. And Milwaukee, Mayor Chevy Johnson, big, bold goal of 1 million people in Milwaukee. And so your job is part of that as far as having people move here, having people stay here, and helping the different companies who are members of MMAC, teaching them how to do that.
Well, so MMAC itself is a membership organization for businesses. So our mission as an organization is to improve the Milwaukee region as a place to start a business, grow a business, and to live, work, and play. So it's really all about attracting businesses and talent because you need both. So the Potosi story really resonated with me because it's a different vantage point, but it's the same thing that we're doing in terms of, is this an attractive community for talent, not just because of the jobs, but because of the lifestyle and what people are wanting and looking for in that live, work, play kind of arena. So what I do for MMAC is more on the what I call the soft side of economic development. I'm thinking about what people's lives look like when they're off work and how they're connecting to each other and connecting to our community, because those are the things that really make a place home. And then if somebody tries to poach our talent, my job is to make it hard for that to happen, because people are having such a great time and they're so connected and they feel so welcome and so included that it's like any other city, they would have to rebuild all of that all over again. And our job is to help them do it here, make it easier to make those kind of connections, especially if they're not from Milwaukee or Wisconsin originally.
And you say the joke about poaching because, as we said earlier, Good Karma Brands, MMAC, right next to each other down on the avenue. And I get to see you a lot more.
Yes.
And I was walking in and the sign was out for an event, obviously, which happens all the time. And I asked you, what's today's event? And you said?
It was all about recruiting passive candidates.
And I looked at you and I said, so poaching? Sliding into the DMs on your LinkedIn, like, hey, we would love for you to come work here.
That's it.
I don't know if you're looking or not.
And they're not. So that's what one of our audiences are recruiters. So we have young professionals, recruiters, managers. It runs the gamut. But that day we had a room of 60 recruiters that were learning and talking about, sharing about recruiting passive talent, because like 79% of candidates are passive, meaning they have a job, they're not looking for a job. But 80% of those people will consider an opportunity if you bring it to them. So these recruiters are doing that within the region, but also to talent in other cities when they're looking at really highly skilled talent to bring them into the Milwaukee region, and they have to have the right approach.
Or maybe you don't hear about this, but as far as recruiters, companies, when they're reaching out to talent in other parts of the country, do they have concerns about Milwaukee? Do they not have enough information? What is the biggest feedback from people who don't live here about Milwaukee?
Yeah, so we find that people that are from the Midwest already know a lot more about Milwaukee and are, they're warmer candidates, but people are a little concerned about the snow.
Got it.
Yeah.
So there's a bigger hurdle for those California folks.
That's right.
All right. Well, when we come back, we will talk to John McCure to see what's coming up on this afternoon's news. This is Spanning the State on WTMJ.
Creative Planning presents Rethink Your Money with John Hagenson, Saturday afternoon at 1. At Creative Planning, we offer full-service, comprehensive wealth management services through our in-house team of wealth managers, accountants, and attorneys to integrate all aspects of your financial life. Get all the expertise, all the advice you need, all in-house. Visit creativeplanning.com. That's creativeplanning.com.
Hi, this is John Neal, CPA, best-selling author and founder of the Neal Group. I have some questions for you. Who does your books? Hopefully not you. There are better things for you to do in running your business. Do you trust the numbers? Good numbers are critical for making good decisions. Are you getting the advice you need to minimize your taxes and put more money in your pocket? A good advisor makes suggestions to help your business grow and minimize taxes, not just put numbers on a form. Do your calls get returned and your questions answered? Many of our new clients tell us they love our quick response time. We have helped countless businesses increase their profits and lower stress. Get the advice you want and need to grow your business and minimize taxes. If you want to get started on the road to making more money and having less stress, visit nealgroup.net right now. That's NEAL group.net. The first meeting is free to see if we can help. Again, nealgroup.net.
Imagine, if you will, a wonderland of vehicles. An entire convention center filled with the things you love to drive. It's the Milwaukee Auto Show at the Baird Center downtown, February 24th through March 3rd. Immerse yourself in the latest new cars and trucks. The Milwaukee Auto Show. For tickets, go to autoshowmilwaukee.com.
WTMJ's Vince Vitrano for Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin. Nagging pain lasting for months, difficulty performing everyday tasks, not moving like you'd like, it's time to see the doctor. And I recommend Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin. Anytime I've needed care, the appointments are timely, no waiting weeks to be seen, and no pressure to have surgery. It's about getting the right diagnosis and choosing a treatment plan that fits your life. No question where I turn if I'm injured again. The experts in care at Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin. It's orthowisconsin.com.
Sharks. Most people see them as a threat, but we see a potential cure. At UW Health Carbone Cancer Center, we're the only team in the world researching whether antibodies from sharks can be used to fight cancer. A discovery that would revolutionize the future of cancer care, turning possibilities into remarkable realities. So one day, instead of what if, we can ask, what's next? UW